Comfortably Platinum!
Welcome to Comfortably Platinum. I'm Stephen Platinum. This is number 11. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope they're being healthy and happy and all of that good stuff. Been a lot of stuff going down the last few days, of course, and I'm going to address some of that in here. By the way, tipping point, which is happening next Tuesday, Larry came up with a great idea because we didn't get a lot of people biting on the game show idea. So Larry came up with a really great concept of sort of like talking about things in depth from a psychological perspective. So we're going to have a number of great guests, including Shalandra Royal. I know Joe Black was going to do it, and Larry is going to get at least a couple more people. So I'm very excited about that. I think Irving West is going to do that as well. So that's something to look forward to. That's next Tuesday. Now, let's get into it. What is everybody going through? I think this little video encapsulated it quite nicely. It's from Canada, which is why some of the references won't be like readily apparent, but other than that, I thought it was absolutely hysterical in a sort of gallows humor kind of way.
Russian trying to intimidate Creed. And the way he throws the right hand and staggers Creed on the right switch off. Under the right switch. The referee tries to step in and he's thrown across the ring. Put it down! Put it down! I've never seen Apollo take so much punishment. Put it down!
Great. And a picture related to the whole thing that we're all going through. I'm a video game guy, and this picture just struck me as particularly hilarious if you know Mortal Kombat at all. Or, frankly, even if you don't, I'm kind of jealous that she has so many masks, and here that is. Good times, good times. So, but what is the real cause of all of this? It's something that's big debate politically, big debate in the media, big debate amongst all of the experts that I know on Facebook. But perhaps this person has the real answer, and that person is David Ali with quite a fantastic video.
The following message is transmitted at the request of local authorities.
The world is running scared. No one knows what to do or where to turn. And as everything is slowly taken away from you, remember that I told you if you deny me, if you could not bring yourself to believe that I would take all of this away. And now, look what's happened to wrestling. It's gone. Will it ever come back? Will we ever see bouts in the ring again? Who knows? But no one ends this world but your savior. Wrestling will return when you appreciate the future.
Pretty awesome stuff. On my Facebook feed, I get a lot of ads for sort of mobile gaming stuff. I guess it's because I have Marvel Contest of Champions, which I've played obsessively for 5 years. It's the only mobile game that I have, but nonetheless, this stuff keeps popping up. Probably because I keep indulging in watching the ads for lengthy amounts of time, which is my fault. Most of these games seem to be sort of zombie related. And then there was one ad that I saw that I particularly loved for one reason. And then, of course, when I was ready to record it, it didn't pop up for weeks and weeks and weeks. But it has finally made it through the cycle and popped up again. And here that ad is now. Why do I love that ad? 2 words. Zombie ball. Come on. It's not cool that the guy's rolling and he's got all the zombies like moving around and he picks it up and throws it over the... Come on. You know what? In fact, I'm going to force you to watch it again. Zombie ball. Look for it. It's amazing. Right? Right? You kind of love Zombie Ball. My kid's over here trying not to laugh. You can laugh. You can do whatever you want. Zombie Ball is amazing. Is Zombie Ball amazing or is Zombie Ball?
Zombie Ball is so amazing. Like you
Speak it.
pulled me over yesterday. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just here sitting on the couch and you're like, look, Zombie Ball.
Zombie Ball.
And then it's true. I mean,
I
it's
came
Zombie
within
Ball.
this close, even though I know that there's no way that's actually in the mobile game. I know all of these mobile games because I always read the comments and people are like, none of these mobile games, this is not a part of this game, blah, blah, blah. Zombie Ball almost got me, man. Because then I started obsessing about thinking about Zombie Ball, like, how would you stop the zombie ball? If you saw this big, huge monster zombie rolling this zombie ball and he was about to throw it, like, let's say, look over here. If he was about to throw it over that wall, how would we stop zombie ball?
Zombie Cube.
Zombie cube.
Fire
Perhaps a zombie rhombus. Perhaps a zombie cylinder. I don't know. But all I know is zombie ball is amazing. Sorry, you know how it goes when you're locked inside. You're a little obsessive. This is a picture that a lot of people have been flipping out about ever since WrestleMania 36. John Cena in the NWO. I was going to do an academic analysis of the Firefly Funhouse, but I decided not to. Why is this pic so incredible? To me, it symbolizes what was the ultimate point and indictment of the Firefly Funhouse. It was not about Bray Wyatt. It was not even about John Cena. The Firefly Funhouse, ultimately, I think their thesis was, it was an indictment about wrestling fans itself. How John Cena is the only babyface that once he became a main event star, never worked heel. And was punished for it, because wrestling has changed to the point where being a babyface, an unabashed babyface who made no apologies about it, Hogan, who was the epitome in the modern era of the babyface, turned heel. But John Cena never did, and the crowd punished him for it. And anyway, I know I'm perhaps making too much of that, but of course I've had a lot of time to think about pro wrestling in general. Mark James is a guy, really smart, really funny guy, and he's got a TikTok channel, and he does things with his wife and without, and this is one of the first one that I saw that he did, and I thought it was really great. So here it is.
Computer where you can get this down? Good. I am never, ever gonna fucking pay y'all. No, not payments, not installments. I'm not doing shit, Jerry. Don't threaten me, Jerry. I already got bad credit. Y'all should have turned that shit off last month.
Really good stuff, Mark James. Speaking of really good stuff, of course, Snake Man, a.k.a. John Cruz, continues to knock out the great stuff. And here he gets to live the fantasy of many pro wrestlers where he gets to get back into a ring. And so let's live this fantasy with him. John Cruz. Yeah. Taking that first bump is going to be horrible. I mean, then again, people will be so fired up to be back into a ring and all that. So I suppose that's a good thing. Next, this is recently we had an anniversary celebration of when the incident happened where Robin Ventura charged the mound and Nolan Ryan grabbed him in a headlock and beat the holy hell out of him. I'm going to show you the picture first for an extended amount of time. I really want you to study that picture, and then I'm going to tell you a little story about it. So that picture was really great. And Nolan Ryan, I mean, he threw heat, man. And he was a big hero of mine. Anybody who played for the Astros at some point, I was going to like. But Nolan Ryan, this picture and incident, because Nolan Ryan was a little older and Robin Ventura was a young buck. And so for Nolan Ryan to like whoop his ass, basically, grab him in that headlock and just pound away, was a big deal. And I remember my father, who they called Papa, my father loved this moment because, of course, he just loved fastball throwing pitchers. And we watched a lot of Astros baseball together, and baseball in general, because it was big in my father's family. My father's brother, my Uncle Gordon, was a pitcher of some note in the minor leagues, never made it to the big time. So my dad had a soft spot for baseball. And he really loved this because he had read an interview with Nolan Ryan where Nolan Ryan said, one time this guy rushed me at the mound and I didn't know what to do. So I started like preparing in case it ever happened again. And Robin Ventura was the unfortunate side effect of that, where Nolan Ryan was ready and whipped his ass, and he was older. So my dad really liked it. So I went out of my way to get that picture for him and find Robin Ventura and Nolan Ryan to sign it. And Robin Ventura signed it reluctantly, but he did because I made him laugh and that kind of thing. And I remember my dad really liked that picture. So, yeah. Anyway, our one of our non-wrestling related videos of the week is this one. I just thought it was super cool. This DJ cutting it up with the Star Wars music. So, enjoy.
You don't know the power of the dark side. He's the best DJ. I feel thunder. The force is with you. Move! It is your destiny,
Sweet. I try to find stuff that's a little more obscure that I think most people haven't seen and throw it in once in a while. One of my favorite things, I haven't done one of these comfortably platinums in a moment, is AEW when they did that bit with Vanguard 1 and Jericho in the hot tub. And of course, the best part of it was the Release the Hounds with all his dogs. Somebody found a way to make a meme out of it. I thought it was hysterical, so here it is. Pretty awesome. Pretty great. The programming, with the no crowds that AEW and WWE continue to do, it is what it is, right? We certainly appreciate them putting out content. I watched the Moxley Jake Hager match in bits and parts. It was hard to watch along. The one trend I hope that is not going to catch hold is doing these longer matches in front of minimal to no crowds. I don't think it's very effective, though I did like the Moxley finish and the build for that match. But man, give me more Release the Hounds. And less long matches where guys are just beating the hell out of each other over an extended period of time. I just don't think it's a very good look. Anyway, but we're all trying to figure out how to do wrestling in this day and age because we're going to continue to do it, right? So next is Let's Get Ready to Platinum, featuring a fight from the movie Running Man. Sub-Zero, a.k.a. Professor Toru Tanaka, who was a wrestler of some note for decades, but really found his way in the movies, whether it was being in James Bond movies, whether it was being in Pee-wee's Big Adventure as the guy at the door, and Sub-Zero here. Fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger, Yaphet Kotto, and some white dude in glasses. Let's get ready to platinum! And we are off and running. Go ahead and taking him down! Sub-Zero in a handicap match against Bookworm Arnold Schwarzenegger and Yaphet Kotto. Very exciting things here. The three of them trying to get it together. I think Sub-Zero very smart to come out strong, knock them down right away, and now pushes Arnold Schwarzenegger up against the fence, nails Yaphet Kotto against the cage, and Bookworm is down, separating them early, very smart, using those hockey skills, the crowd going crazy, taking Bookworm all the way to the goal is Sub-Zero, and that's a score. And now cages him in to finish him off later. Very excited, perhaps celebrating early. Richard Dawson giving away more gifts to the home audience. But let's get back to the action. Bookworm's caught in the cage. Look at Sub-Zero, a.k.a. Toru Tanaka. What's he got there? An exploding bomb puck! And Arnold Schwarzenegger is down. Unbelievable. The blue hairs in the crowd loving it. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is unconscious. Yaphet Kotto making a run for it. Gonna try to free his friend from the cage. A huge mistake and almost gets the business end of a razor sharp goalie stick. Look at it tear through that chain link like it's nothing. Yaphet Kotto, he's down. He's dodging. He doesn't have much time left. In a very vulnerable moment, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger grabbing Sub-Zero, taking him into the boards, ducking Toru Tanaka so far, going for the head every time. And now Arnold Schwarzenegger pulling up the barbed wire, stringing it along, runs it across, right to the neck, the deadliest clothesline of all. And now look at the blood flowing. Oh my God, the crimson throat of Sub-Zero, a.k.a. Toru Tanaka, and he's down! He is down! Unbelievable, the crowd can't believe it! They were so excited earlier, but now they're finding out that Arnold Schwarzenegger is nothing to mess with. He has silenced this home crowd for Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero! Now,
what does he say?
Zero.
And now Plain Zero, one of the weakest one-line disses, but nonetheless, a very effective performance. And there it is. And now our pick and video of the week. I'm gonna go against tradition a little bit. I'm gonna put the video up first, my favorite video of the time. A number of Georgia notables and wrestling notables in general got together for this thing. You know, the thing where they like cover the boop, boop, and then they're in different costumes and then they pass it along. This one was one of the first ones that came out, and I still think one of the best ones. It's really, really great. Danny Jordan's in there, Shalondra Royal, Sean Dean, Ashton Starr, a bunch of other people. It's really fantastic. Enjoy for my favorite video of the episode.
Pulling out the coupe at the lot, told him 12 swat, buzzing all the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with the box, had to put the stick in the box. Pour up the whole damn seal, I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo deals, we been trapping like the 80s. cash out. Told them wipe a no, say slash slash. I won't never sell my soul, and I can back that. And I really wanna know where you at, where? I was at back, where the stash at? Cruise the city in a bulletproof Cadillac, cause I know these niggas out there where the bag at. Gotta move smarter, gotta move harder. Try to give me 5 mile water. I lay his down on my son, on my daughter. I had the Draco with me, Dwayne Carter. Lot of niggas out here playing, ain't ballin'. I done put my whole arm in the rim, Vince Carter. And I know Poppy get a key for the quarter. Shawty barely seen the double C's, I bought her. Got a bitch that's looking like a Leah, she a model. I got the pink slip, my whip is keyless. Compton, I'm about to get the key to the city. Patty, lighter, see. Forgetting out the coupe at the lot. Told him 12 swat, busting all the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with the box. Had to put the stick in the box. Pour up the whole damn seal. I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo deals. We been trapping like the 80s. She said the so got the cash out. Told them wipe a no, say slash slash. I won't never sell my soul, and I can back that. And I really wanna know where you at, where? I've been moving them out. And steal it with me, then he got the blues in the pouch. Took her to the forest, put the wood in the mouth. Don't wear no shoes in my house. The private I'm flying in, I never wanna fly again. I take my chances in traffic. She sucking on no hands with it. I just made the rolling plane like a landing strip. I'm a 2020 president candidate. I done put 100 bands on Zimmerman. I've been moving real gangster, so that's why she pick up.
And finally, Howard Finkel passed. The ring announcer that, whether he's the greatest or not, is up for debate, perhaps, but he is certainly the most imitated, certainly the most well-known, and certainly the guy that when you think of a ring announcer by name, you think Howard Finkel. I'm going to put his picture up right here. Howard Finkel is great. The first thing that I thought of when I heard was something that I read in the J.J. Dillon book. And I think it's especially apropos considering the WWE just let a bunch of people go, right? Ton of people go. And it's the latest, scariest indication that pro wrestling is in huge trouble. And I appreciated the sentiment a lot of people did, where it was like, I think, it'll be great. These guys will turn up somewhere else. Where else? Like, wrestling is going through a fundamental change right now on a foundational level of which it may never recover. And that's the reality. And that's very hard to hear, but it's true. And Howard Finkel passing on, what I thought of was in the J.J. Dillon book, they had mentioned that when in the mid-90s, when the WWE was going through a really rough patch, they famously even took the, water coolers out of Titan Towers. They were strapped. They were losing millions. Though the amount that they were losing that caused this kind of panic would make you laugh now, because the kind of money that gets thrown around and goes ebbs and flows is so much greater. But still, at the time, it was panic time. And they were cutting the salaries of the wrestling people. Not the wrestlers themselves, but the wrestling people that helped in other capacities. And Lord Alfred Hayes, according to the book, was one of the guys that just went, you know what, I'm out. Because screw that. You're not lowering the salaries of these other executives that are not wrestling people. You're punishing the wrestling people. So Lord Alfred Hayes took a stand and he was out. And other people had decisions to make. But they said, J.J. Dillon, I thought, said something interesting about Howard Finkel. Howard, of course, accepted the pay cut without argument because he was just happy to be there. He was the first employee of McMahon's WWF, and he stayed there for a very long time, and he lived to just about 70 years old. And in a time where people are going to be debating what's right, what's wrong, all the financial concessions that they're going to have to make, and all the tough things that are happening. I'll always remember that about Howard Finkel, besides the fact that he was the best guy who ever called any kind of title change. And no! I mean, who hasn't imitated that in some way, shape, or form that has done ring announcing for pro wrestling or even any kind of combat sport where a champion was being announced? You can't help but Howard Finkel. If that isn't the ultimate statement of legendary iconic status, that you can't not hear him do the call whenever you see a new champion. I don't care what it's for. I don't know what is a bigger praise, honestly. But I always think of Howard Finkel, the guy who was a dyed-in-the-wool loyalist and faithful to the end. I honestly don't think, based on the tweets, and I know this will be a bit of a controversial statement, I think a lot of the tweets and sentiments that have come out from the WWE have been, frankly, very kind of cold and distant. And obviously they have a lot of other things to worry about, and they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. I get that too. But Howard Finkel was a guy who stuck by them. Anyway, rest in peace to Howard Finkel. And this brings us to the end of another episode of Comfortably Platinum. I hope you and yours are doing well and staying safe, and I will see you again very soon.
Comfortably Platinum!